Grattis till vinsten, Nico. Du har nu hamnat i vinstkolumnen igen efter ett snedsteg i förra match. Hur känns det att nu har det ganska säkert att vinna igen i UFC?
Det känns ju bra som jag sagt i alla intervjuer tidigare. Visst, jag torskade matchen innan, men jag försökte göra det bästa av den situationen och den erfarenheten, och jag står här idag en bättre fighter på grund av det. Men samtidigt med det sagt, det här är verkligen en bransch för bara vinnare, så det känns självklart helt skönt att vara tillbaka i den kolumnen.
Det gick ju tiden ut. När du stod där och inväntade domslutet, var du nervös eller var du säker på att du hade gjort nog för att förtjäna vinsten?
Det kändes som att jag var den som bestämde. Det kändes så. Men det sagt, det är klart han prickar mig också, men det är fighting det hör till.
Så man vet aldrig med domarna?
Nej, det faktiskt, men den egna känslan var god.
Is the right conclusion that this was like the first and second round was a bit of part of your game plan, just to not stress it, be a bit methodical? It's that way I kind of recognized you in a sense.
A bit so, yeah, of course. We knew coming into the fight that he shoots in very quickly, does it very well for that sake, has a strong wrestling game, and has fought and beaten top names outside of the UFC on the local circuits. So we knew, although he might be unknown to the general public, among the hardcore fans, people know his game, and he showed that tonight as well.
And how do you feel? I mean, from all the preparations for this fight, how do you feel? Are you completely satisfied with performance? Was there anything that wasn't there as you planned? Obviously, you never get satisfied. Yeah,
I think that's kind of a utopia. I'm glad to have the win, of course. I'm sure I must have done something correct. On the other hand, I know directly that things I could capitalize on. I'm happy, but there's still work to be done, and I look forward to it.
You feel fresh? Any injuries? Anything?
No, nothing major. I mean, it's a fight though. He hit me hard, I kicked him hard, and we'll see tomorrow.
Nico, it seemed like you had a good...
Focus.
Nico, there was quite a bit of clinch where you were pursuing a takedown. Was part of a game plan to take him down?
Part of the game plan was to tire him against the cage, especially against the cage. We knew, in the middle of the cage, he shoots in very quickly, as I said earlier, and the only fight he had prior to this fight in the UFC was against Damian Maia, and Damian Maia showed that he could run him against the cage, so we worked on capitalizing on that aspect for sure.
Was there any aspect of Alexander Yakovlev's game that surprised you, that you had a hard time with?
Not really, but at the same time, I mean, he's a game opponent. No one's in the UFC out of mistake. And his record shows.
I mean, obviously, no pun intended, but for this fight, you have a pretty much an all-star, setup of coaches. And again, no pun intended. You have Max Philipsson.
Yes.
You have Sasha with you, Martinovic from Rinkeby, Muay Thai, and also
Louis Lagerman.
Yeah, Louis Lagerman, the boxing coach.
Yeah, they were here today.
Yeah.
And back home or in the stands watching, we also have Kenta Hammarström and Niklas Bergman from BKT and Prana Jutsu respectively. All in all, I thank them so much. The guys and girls at the clubs as well. They really pushed me hard. It's been hard these weeks, and I'm very thankful.
Leaving the Gastelum fight behind you, and a certain amount of minor commotion that was created by you moving out of All Stars gym and going on a freelance, or say call it a free agent, so to speak. Did that give you any kind of strength, just to even more motivation?
What I can say is I know I'm in a good place. We're in good places, and I'm very happy for it. And I know that the work we've done we've only scratched the surface, and there's much more to come, and I'm super pumped and motivated.
So now that you're back in the win column and your next fight, you're sure that you're going to have a next fight. Any particular opponent that interests you?
No, I've never been the one really who calls out people, and not the guy who chooses opponents either. With that said, I'll go home, heal up, and as usual, wait for the call to come.
It was another good night for Carl Pendred. Obviously, he's got a win against you. Is that a fight that perhaps interests you now that you're back in the welterweight division?
He's always been in the welterweight division. We fought a few years back, and if our paths were to cross again, we'll see about it then. As I said earlier, I'm not the one to call out people.
Nico, en fråga på svenska. Hur påverkas du av hemmapubliken?
Jag kan börja med att säga att när jag stod där det heter spela tunnel, men ikväll kallar vi den fight i tunneln. Det var, jag hoppas ni fångar det. Det är på riktigt. Jag vill bara säga tack för att jag fick uppleva det. Det var någonting helt sjukt när Buchika Style sattes igång. Jag hörde publiken jubla. Det var verkligen magiskt. Bättre än jag någonsin kunde föreställa mig. Och
just to actually build past, reference to mentioned Cathal Penrith. How do you see for example, yourself standing up against him now, compared to the past?
A lot has happened. I stand here a better fighter. He as well. We're both in the same division. We fought earlier. There is history. At the same time, I won't be that guy who will, spin this into something bigger at the moment. I understand. He knows this game as well. I know it. You know it. We'll see what happens.
You actually said something interesting there. You said, I will never be that guy, not yet, or something similar. But when will you start calling people out?
I don't know. We'll see.
Hey Nico, it seemed like you had really good pacing for this fight. Is that something you worked on? I think your third round was really strong for you, and it looked like your conditioning was a real strength tonight.
It has always been, and more than anything, all of this, like the fight game, fighting for the UFC, you always have to. It's a learning process as well, and the conditioning has always been top, but then it's also a lot about, handling what happens prior to the fight, walking into the fight, reacting to the crowd, and remembering to breathe and stuff. In there tonight, I felt good. With that said, I felt like I could have pushed even harder.
Yeah, we ran into Diego Gonzalez right before the fight, and it sounded like you texted him today and said, "Get down here and watch me fight." Was there anyone else you were trying to get down here to show some support?
I've asked everyone to come here. You mentioning him, I have to say big thanks to him, Diego Gonzalez. Watch out for him in the future. He's been around since way back. He will make his mark in this sport. Helped me out a lot for this fight. And I heard he was coming here to see my fight. Then he had to go work. So I hope he made it.
In the UFC, you're 2-0 in Sweden. Every time you're here, you do well. How much does it feel? How good does it feel to fight in front of, at the Ericsson again and come away with another win?
This is the first fight in the globe.
My bad.
No worries though. No worries though. But
My bad.
No worries. But we can pretend that now we know that we came off to a good start, and I plan on making it even better for next time.
They usually say that most of the fight game is a majority part of it is mental. Right, the entire deal with you going from your last fight at, I think it was Golden Ring, and then being part of the UFC and then grown into the UFC. How have you changed as a person and mostly as a fighter? That's a 10-point question.
It's a tough one. All in all, what I can say before even entering the UFC, the goal has always been, to enter and to make it my place. I plan on retiring, being a next UFC fighter. With that said, I knew that the work we've done prior has always been that when the opportunity comes, it will be for the rest of the career. So, with that said, every fight is is something to learn from. The last fight, this fight tonight, all the fights before the UFC as well, and yeah, we work hard.
Like
And
you
thank
just
people
said,
for all the help.
Like you just said, you learn something from every fight, and I know it's early, but do you feel spontaneously anything you learned from this fight?
Yeah, kind of what's it called? Confirmation that the things I do good. Now I know 100% that I can be there with a good wrestler. That's the spontaneous thing that comes to mind.
Oh, that's good.
That we'll have to do for now.
Yeah.